I'm in Snohomish, Washington, which is about 30 miles north of Seattle, and I have not been out with a camera for quite some time, and it feels good to be out here again. Let's see who might jump on. Hey, it's Zach. Good to see you, Zach. Hope you're doing well in England. We're right up on sunset right now. If we were in Mukilteo, which is about 10 miles west of here, we might see the sun, but the ridge lines from here in Snohomish prevent us from seeing the sun go down. But it's just nice to be out overlooking the valley. We got a really nice cool breeze overhead coming this way, right at us on this roadside here. For the locals, it's Spring Getty Road. And you know what? As I mentioned, I haven't been out here for a while. Hey, Doreen. Pleasure to see you, Doreen. Hope you're doing well. I have not been out with the camera, whether, just to take photos or live stream or both. I think I had one live stream a couple of weeks ago, but it's been a quiet 2021 for me on the photography and live streaming side of things. I've been really busy with a personal project and some other stuff at home. But I hope to get out more here and share the outdoors with you, and hopefully have some pretty neat news to share with you in the weeks ahead as well. Though I'll definitely be popping up more than I have so far this year. Let's put it that way. I'm using the Haps app once again. I used it probably a couple of months ago and haven't used it since. But here I am back using Haps. I know I'm seeing comments from Periscope. And I'm not, I think, Doreen, are you on YouTube? I think you might be watching on YouTube. I don't know whether Facebook comments appear on Haps. Tom, peace, brother Tom. Hope you're doing well out there on Whidbey Island. I'm pointed right at you right now. Oh, that's how we zoom in. It's kind of a funky zoom on this app. Pretty abrupt. I do have my mask on me, but I took it off. Twitter, thank you, Tom. I took it off right before I went live. Hey, thanks, Zach. Appreciate that. That's so cool. I'll flip it around. So here I am. I need a shave. You had a nice sunset. So, Tom, I think right before you came on, I was explaining how I was pointing to the west out beyond me and saying there's a ridge line that prevents us from seeing sunset. I mean, the sun itself go down. And that if I was in Mukilteo, perhaps I'd see it. Tom is even a little bit further west across the thin strip of Puget Sound water, and he gets some awesome sunsets from Whidbey Island. Doreen says, yes, looks like YouTube. I can't see anyone else though. Okay, so the way this works is I'm using the Haps app. I'm seeing comments from the various platforms, with the exception, I think, of Facebook. So I'll probably get home and then I'll see that that people are commenting on Facebook. And Facebook, sorry if you're watching, I can't apparently see your comments. And Sonia is here. And she says it's light much later already. Yeah, with daylight saving time and that sun is edging its way northward. What I mean by that is, yeah, it sets in the west, but in the winter, the heart of winter, it's to the southwest, and in the heart of summer, it's to the northwest. And so that would be like the midway point, but it's still down in this direction, a little bit southwest. And you can only see your comments, Tom says. And I want to give a shout out to Zach. Thank you for, I forget what they call him here on Haps. You can fill me in, but I can see you gave me 15 cents, so that's awesome. Thanks. You know what? I finally went to cash out my stars, hearts, my stars, whatever they were called on Periscope. You'd think I'd know. I was on there since the beginning in 2015. And I think I might have missed their deadline, but you have to register as a super broadcaster. And I only did this like a week ago, and I think I might have missed their cutoff. Day length changes very rapidly here in spring and fall. Yeah, Sonia, agreed. And Zach says LOL. Yeah, all right, well, enough looking at me. Let's flip it around. And you know what I wanted to ask you guys too is I am wearing a lavalier mic tonight, a wireless lavalier. And I was wondering how, see, it's windy, and I knew that the wind, it's windy enough where you guys would be commenting by now, boy, it sounds really windy where you're at. But how is the audio? And in fact, what I'll do is I'll walk away and I'll come back and read the comments. Let's point it towards Spring-Getty Road, and I'll go down there a little bit. And let's see how the audio is. Just a sec. So here I am a distance away from the camera, and if this wireless microphone is working well, I'm playing nice with the rest of the toys here, you can still hear me really well. I don't know if you can see this ribbon, but it gives you a bit of an indication that there's a bit of a breeze here. And it really doesn't take much with the onboard mic on an iPhone in this example for it to really sound very pronounced with the wind distortion. So once again, I'm wearing a lavalier mic, and it usually cuts down on it really well, although I don't have what's called a dead cat or dead kitten over the mic. Audio is great. Very good. Excellent. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate the feedback. You know, when I got out here, in the distance there was a bit of purple. It's gone now, but it looks like it still might be raining way out there. Let me see. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, that's way too much. So let's look over this way. Yeah, okay, no, it's over this way. Right there. You see the foothills? We can't see much of the foothills there. So I do think it is raining there. Thanks for the high five, my friend Zach. Gosh. You know, the cool thing is, what I like about this app, in addition to the high fives, thank you. Rain in Seattle today, Tom says. What I also like is it tells me very clearly that the signal is great. It says great. It shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. So that's good news. How do you all feel, for those of you who have been using Periscope, how do you feel about losing Periscope at the end of the month? Some of us have been on that journey and that ride together, and many of you have been so kindly joining me on these broadcasts for 6 years. Some of you have been with me for 6 years, because it was March of 2015 when it started. I got on there right about that time. So how do you feel about it, about losing Periscope? Zach says he's getting used to all these buttons. It'll be interesting to go back once again and compare the quality of the broadcast on the various media platforms. So Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and see how they all look. Sonia says to Tom, my daughter near Queen Anne said they heard thunder today. And Doreen says, I'm with Zach, getting used to all the buttons. Yeah, I've got to get caught up too. I think you mean petty. It's a pity that Periscope is ending. Made a few friends on Periscope. And Tom says you came a bit later. And Sonia says she'll have to check out some of the other video apps. Yeah, I don't know that HAPS is my firm way forward. I do like knowing that I can find some of you here, which is really nice to know. So I'm sure I'll be doing some more on HAPS, but I have other options too. I'm on YouTube, and I've done some live streaming there over the years. I also subscribe to a live streaming service where I also host content and it's a really, really good service. It's the same service that TVW uses. It was actually born out of TVW, which is the state's television station in Olympia. It's called Inventus Media, Invintus. But the bottom line is it does some good re-encoding to make for really good streams, and I can output to different platforms, social platforms, and my blog and so forth. And Zach is saying to try TikTok. I don't know if my soon-to-be 10-year-old and 12-year-old might get on me if I do TikTok. They always tend to cringe whenever I look at TikTok. Why do you think that is? I have a relative who's apparently making some money on TikTok. Triple tall with a cup of coffee. First time seeing that on Haps, but she's watching on Periscope and it pops up the same way. So thank you so much, Triple Tall. I'm going to see Triple Tall shortly, and we'll be doing some homework tonight. So tell me how you guys are doing. What you've been up to. I know some of you have been busy in the new year. I want to give a shout out. I don't think she's watching at the moment, but I want to give a shout out to Deb and her husband Ray. Those of you who follow me regularly on Periscope, let me flip the camera around. Those of you who follow me regularly on Periscope know about Deb and Ray. They live in Everett, or I should say, until this week, they lived in Everett. They drove to Montana this week, and that is where they're going to live now. More than 60 years here in nearby Everett. This is where they grew up, lived their life, and they arrived this week, maybe a day or two drive to Montana. I think Deb said it's so quiet out here, no trains, no commuters going back and forth nearby. I think she's going to like the wide open spaces, and she's an avid painter, and I think she'll really enjoy her painting and her gardening out there. So Deb and Ray, if you catch the replay, I wish you the very best in your new life in Montana. It's a beautiful state. I have a friend that I went to college with who has a bed and breakfast in Montana on Flathead Lake. I gotta make it out there someday. It seems just beautiful. Cool thing about that bed and breakfast, she gets some interesting guests from time to time. And 2 or 3 years ago, Bono from U2 was a guest. That was pretty cool. I think I'm missing some of your comments. Let me scroll up. I think I was with Periscope rather early at that time. It was very helpful for your situation, Sonia writes. That's good, Sonia. You know, I think a lot of people found some deep value in Periscope. You know, I think of Babylon Brook. I remember the very first time, I watched her the very first time she did a Periscope broadcast. And for those of you who don't know, she suffered from some very debilitating injuries, which had her pretty much wheelchair bound and bedridden. And Periscope was a way to connect with the world, meet people, have meaningful conversations. It was really cool to meet people such as her and others along the way, and learn and see and engage. I think the engagement was really, really fantastic in most cases. We had the waves of trolls and so forth that we had to learn how to combat, and the app itself, Twitter/Periscope, had to learn how to combat. But toward the end, it got pretty, fairly cleaned up, and with moderators, I thought it went pretty well. Yeah, I think I started to allude to it earlier. I haven't been out here with my camera for weeks, for the most part, if not months. And it looks like the trumpeter swans, and I'm guessing the snow geese, I'm guessing they're gone because they went to here. Breaking news: 10 people killed in a shooting in Boulder, Colorado, including a police officer. Zach, wow, horrible news. Horrible news. These things are so all too common. I mean, one is too many. Thank you, Tom. You too. Give my best to Bella and your dad, and enjoy your your hikes and your time at Home Depot, Tom. Peace. Ah, that's just depressing, Zach. Thanks for sharing. Anyway, let's take a look out real quick again. When those swans were here, we could be right here and we could watch them come in in the evening twilight, and sometimes they'd fly right overhead. You'd hear their wings flapping in addition to their trumpeting, if you will. Temperature was about 46 degrees Fahrenheit when I started the scope about a half hour ago. Definitely still a chill in the air. Just looking overhead and seeing that we have the moon's about 50-50. I can try and show you that. All right, my friends, I think I'm going to keep it fairly short, at least by my standards. Those of you who followed me over the years know that I can go on and on. Anyhow, nice to get out here, nice to get the camera. You know, it took me a while to remember, okay, with all this setup, what goes where again? So I literally did a test before I came out here while I was still at home, and then hustled out here hoping I could still grab some daylight. If I had started a little bit earlier, I would have gone to Mukilteo, and maybe I'll do a scope from there soon. Take care, everybody. It's a pleasure to reconnect with you this evening. If you're new, feel free to follow. Always nice to share this corner of the world with you. Hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there. Hope to see you again soon.